Well, you're thinking about getting a motorcycle. Great idea, by the way, you're on the right path. But now you're wondering what gear actually matters and how do you even pick the right one? With all the information out there, it's pretty easy to get lost. Don't worry, I've been in your shoes. After 5 years of riding, I've learned what actually matters and what mistakes you need to avoid. The right gear can literally save your skin, but it also changes how comfortable you are and how long you can ride, and even how well you can control the bike. Starting with the helmet. If you're gonna ride a motorcycle, you'll need this thing. There are 3 things you need to look out for when you're buying one of these. First thing, safety rating. Second, fit. And third, the style that you want to go with. So for starters, there are 4 main safety ratings that you need to look out for. First, being the FIM, which is the highest safety rating that you can get on a helmet. Basically the same helmet that MotoGP racers and World Superbike racers get, and basically any professional races that you see. Second is the ECE, which the newest one is the 2206, and the ECE is basically safety rating for helmets that can be sold in Europe. Third is Sharp, and that's also a safety rating for helmets sold in the UK. Fourth is the DOT. Now if you're looking to buy one, you need to look out for one of these, which is the ECE 2206. It is the closest thing that you can get to an FIM safety rating, which is pretty amazing to have this as a standard for all the helmets sold in Europe. Now if you can get a helmet with an FIM certification, that'd be even better, but 2206 would do just fine. Now if you're looking to buy a helmet and you're in the US, it also needs to have the DOT certification, but the DOT actually has a substantially less safety rating compared to the ECE 2206. So you need the DOT to ride on the street, but you also need to look for the ECE 2206 for the safety. I'm not gonna go into details of how much more safety the 2206 has compared to the DOT, because that's a whole nother video in itself. But Fortnite actually did an amazing video, which I'll link down below. You should go and check it out. Now going for the second thing, which is the fit. There's 3 main shapes of the helmet. There's long oval, intermediate oval, and round. Nowadays, most of the helmets make the shape in intermediate oval. And how you can determine which head shape you got? You need to get a top view picture of your head so you can see which category you fall into. Actually, Revzella did an amazing video about how to measure your helmet size, so go check that out. I'll put that in the description. And now for the third thing, which is the style of the helmet that you want to get. There's 3 different styles of helmet. This one, the full face, and then there's the modular, where you can lift off the actual chin, splits off in half, or the open face, which I do not recommend getting. But anyways, this right here provides the most safety, which is gonna be the full face. But if your ride involves a lot of your face not being covered, or you just don't like the full face all the time, then a modular helmet would be a perfect fit. But you might be compromising the safety aspect here, although the safety rating shows that they're basically identical, but I just prefer the full face over a modular. Now these are the 3 main things that you need to look out for. There are other things that are basically personal preference, like the aerodynamic or the design of the helmet, also the ventilation of the helmet. It needs to suit the weather that you're riding in, and also there's the weight aspect. If you're going on long rides, you should have a lighter helmet so you don't get fatigued and you don't get uncomfortable riding. Other things you might want to look out for: if you like to have a comm system, you need to check if the helmet actually has that. Nowadays, most of the helmets do provide that, but you still need to check if you'd love to have a comm system attached to it. When looking out to buying one of these, there's 3 main things that you need to look out for. First being the CE level protection that it provides. Second, the abrasion resistance. And third, the ventilation. Now when talking about the CE level protection, there's 2 levels of protection: CE level 1 and CE level 2. CE level 1 being the standard or the basic level of protection you get with these pads, and CE level 2 is a step above it. Now there's also levels in CE level 2, but you don't really need to know about that. And for the abrasion, there is the single A rating, double A rating, and triple A rating. Most of the jackets don't even include a back protector, so keep that in mind. And when talking about ventilation, this thing, for example, is a summer jacket, so it has a lot of vents from the front and the back. There's 4 types of ventilation. One of them is waterproof, Second is your basic summer jacket that has a lot of vents. Third being the hybrid, which means it has the body of a summer jacket, but also can have an inner layer for different types of weather. Some of them also do zipper style of vents where you can, just shut it all together, and some use the inner layer. Now the fourth type is the heated jacket. Now there's two types of jackets: leather jacket, textile jacket. Leather has a higher abrasion resistance than textile, but with new tech, they're close, but nothing beats leather. Also, things to look out for: if you want to have a lot of pockets, you need to check that in the description of the jacket. The other thing is the airbag compatibility. Luckily, these two jackets are airbag compatible. If you want to have an airbag in the future, you need to keep that in mind. Moving to the gloves, you got two styles: the gauntlet and the short glove. And same thing with the jacket. It also has a CE level rating, which is also CE level 1 and CE level 2. And there are gloves that are completely made out of leather. And there's the textile / the textile leather glove. These are the main things that you want to look out for when buying a glove. But I also recommend looking out for sliders when buying a glove. This is a must for me. So this thing has sliders all over the place, here in the pinky and then the wrist. And the knuckle is made out of carbon. It also slides. So that's an important thing to look out for. Another thing you might want to look out for is the pinky protection. So as you can see, this one has full pinky protection, whereas this one has some, but not really that much. And if you're using your phone a lot and you don't want to take off your gloves, this thing is completely touch compatible. Or not completely, it's only the thumb and the index. Just like we said about the material that's made out of, leather is just superior in every way, although it can be a bit uncomfortable at first, but the safety that it provides is second to none. Moving down to the pants, I've got some unfortunate news for you, but your normal jeans ain't gonna cut it. These motorcycle jeans are designed to be on a bike. They got AAA abrasion resistant rating and CE level 1 pads on the hip and also the knee. So it kind of follows the same thing as the jacket, where it has an abrasion resistant rating and also a CE level rating. It may look like a normal pair of jeans, but this thing is denim mixed with Kevlar and multi-layer airmid. Now same thing with pants. There's the jeans / airmid Kevlar, and there's the actual leather pants. Unfortunately, I don't have a pair to show you, but if you want to go to the track, you need to have a full leather pants, which is going to provide the most abrasion resistance. Now moving down to the boots. There's two styles: full boots, and then there's the short boots. You can get a ventilated one or non-ventilated boot. These things also have a CE level rating. You can go with the CE level 1 or CE level 2. If you want more protection, obviously go with the full boot. Or if you want to do everyday riding, you can try out this, but I prefer this even with everyday riding. One main feature to look out for is the ankle protection. This one basically doesn't have anything. I can twist it and bam, it's gone. The sole itself is good, but there is basically no ankle protection. Whereas with the full boot, you cannot twist it. It's very hard. So you get basically same features, more protection. Maybe not as comfortable for some, but I love them. Another feature to look out for is the sliders. This one happens to have sliders all over the place. This one does have some sliders, but not as much as this. Now, as we said, there's the ventilated and non-ventilated, but there's also the waterproof. That's a plus, but you also can get an armored jacket. Now you gotta look out for the CE rating, because there's one for the bikes and one for motorcycles, and then there's one for off-roading, which is also a different type of CE level rating. If you're riding street, make sure you're getting the motorcycle CE street rating. Same thing with the jacket. There's CE level rating for the pads and abrasion rating, but this one basically doesn't have any. If you like to look normal while being protected, this might be a good choice for you. Now that we know what to look out for when buying gear, we're gonna move to how to choose gear. And this part has three main things to consider. First is protection, second is comfort, and third is budget. Think of it like this: gear should fit your riding style, your environment, and your wallet. Now if you're on a budget, I'd recommend you getting the helmet with ECE 2206, and for the jacket, an abrasion resistance AA or more and CE level 1 or more. As for the material, I recommend you getting textile since it's cheaper and gonna get the job done. For the gloves, I'd recommend you getting short gloves that are made out of leather with sliders, and if you like the touch and screen compatibility, then also look for that. Being on a budget, me personally, I'd skip pants at first, and then later down the road I'd get one. And for the boots, I'd go short boots, but I definitely want to make sure they have good ankle protection. You want your gear to fit your environment. That means if you ride in a hot climate all year round, then you should consider having ventilated gear. And same goes if you want to ride in cold weather. I'd recommend setting a minimum budget of $500 to $600, since that's gonna cover most of the gear that you need except for the pants. And now I'm gonna tell you 5 mistakes that you should avoid. First one, which I see a lot, is people riding with sneakers. That's such a bad idea. Not only you're gonna ruin your sneakers, they're also not gonna protect you at all in an event of a crash. Plus, it's not gonna give you the needed grip on the pegs and the shifter, so you're not really gonna have full control of the bike. So go ahead and get you a proper riding shoes that's gonna give you the grip needed on the pegs. Plus, you're gonna feel the shifter better since it has a toe protector, and it's gonna save your foot in an event of a crash. Second mistake that I see people do, they buy oversized gear that they think they're gonna grow into it. I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's just not how it works in motorcycle gear. Not only it's not gonna fit you, it's not gonna look great on you. Plus, it's not gonna provide the protection since all the pads are not placed on the proper locations or not placed on the proper areas. And third is ignoring ventilation for hot climate. If you live in hot climate, you definitely need ventilation. And for the fourth one, it's kind of the same thing, but if you ride in cold weather, you'd need your gear to be suitable for cold weather. And for the fifth, which is last but not least, buying style over functionality. I see that all the time, especially for, people on Instagram and TikTok, which is really unfortunate since they have a lot of influence, and that leads to people buying gear that's not actually safe. It just looks cool. Not really, but they think it looks cool. Don't think of the gear as something extra. Think of it as a part of the motorcycle itself. At the end of the day, gear is your second skin, so make sure it's tough enough to take a hit, but also comfortable enough to wear every ride. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got something out of it. If you ride, what's one piece that you wouldn't ride without? Comment it down below. Also, if you're looking to buy your first set of gear, I'm doing a video and the next week probably is gonna cover budget, beginner friendly gear for all styles. I'm talking off-road, street, cruiser, whatever it is, I'm gonna do it. If you want to see that, make sure to subscribe and also check out my other videos. But that's all I got for today. Peace.